Hey guys, it's Michelle here, the founder and CEO of ihelpmoms.com. Well, if you can't tell, my smile is like leaping off my face because I've been so excited about this interview. I had the pleasure of talking with Marie, who is an infant massage specialist last week. And she shared with me the tremendous work she does helping new parents and has done so for decades. And in our conversation, it came up that she's also a mom of two and has an incredibly powerful and just talented daughter herself that is a soccer phenom. She has played for FC Austin. She has played overseas in Portugal and many other places that she has enlightened me that I will learn more about. But I'm just so excited. I was mentioning them before the show that when last year hit, I think all moms took a real good look at what matters, what's important. All the activities stopped. We had a lot of time to be with our kids and maybe reconfigure what do they like to do? What are they interested in? Online options opened up a whole new world to us. And then all of a sudden our lives restarted. And I know for myself, I feel like I'm running again in a million different directions. And so I asked Marie, some of these questions. When did your daughter start really taking to soccer? How did you know as a working mom? I think you said at that time you were a single mom as well, balancing it all. How do you do that all without feeling guilty? And I know now you said your husband is a very talented soccer coach himself and is a renowned expert down here. How did that play into the passion, the influence, the ability? So all these questions came to my mind. I'm a mom of 3 kids under 8 right now, and I'm running in a million directions. So I decided to bring our conversation on live with Liz, Amanda, and Marie. So thank you guys for being with me today.
Thank you for having us. Thank you for
All right, so speak up loud and clear because I know these mommies are going to want to hear what you guys have to say. So Liz, Amanda, my first question for you is, when did you first know that you love soccer? Did you play a variety of sports? Did you start at 6 years old and were you, the soccer phenom on the field? I want to hear about your journey.
Yeah, I started playing actually pretty late. I did start playing other sports in the beginning. I think I dabbled in a little bit of tennis, softball, flag football, of course, basketball, which is embarrassing, like not good at. Yeah, I've tried different sports, and then I didn't know anything about soccer or the culture that soccer has like around the world. But I fell in love with it because it felt like I had a place for me, and I had potential in it, and I was able to grow. And once I knew I love soccer is when I was like, this is what I want to work hard for. This is what I want to like sweat hard for, bleed for. Just like I was really into it, so I gave it my all.
I love it. I mean, you use so many words of growth mindset and really self-motivation, which I think are 2 huge aspects of your journey and just everyone finding their fulfillment in life. And what age would you say that was when that light switch went on? Like, wow, I'm ready to pursue this myself without having a parent put me in the sport, right?
Yeah, I started when I was 14, 13, 14. I was in rec soccer. And I was kind of shocked to play in a sport where everyone is playing since they're 8 years old. And so me at 14, I'm a late bloomer, and age doesn't matter. So I want to put that out there. Like, it doesn't matter how old you are, you can do whatever you want to do, no matter how old. But I started at 14, and I would say I fell in love when I went to training with my coach, who is now my stepdad.
And that's so cool.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. I love this. More good stuff to get to. Yeah. All right. So this one I'm going to ask Marie this time. My husband started coaching our 6-year-old, and he came home. He's like, Michelle, these parents act like they're going to the World Cup. I'm like, I told you. I'm like, it's crazy. They're 6. I mean, the parents are like yelling on the sidelines. He's like, I love coaching the kids. the parents are wow. I'm like, I know, it's amazing.
Yes.
It's
Yeah.
funny and kind of everything in between there. But in from a parenting perspective, Marie, you know, obviously your husband is a coach and obviously you're the mom, so you guys have that interesting inside perspective. When we grew up, it was a well-rounded. You played some soccer, you did some track, you did some tennis, you did some basketball, you played 3 sports, like everyone got along. It was cool. Now it seems like because sports is a big business, they're really specializing these kids super early.
Yeah.
What would you say as a parent looking in? What would be your perspective on specialization versus well-rounded?
Well, I'm looking at my background too. I was also Canadian team for track and field, and I started when I was 8. So
Wow.
get the little balance there. But I would say as a parent, you have to let your kids try, like you say. But then I saw this morning on TV was that guy that basketball, they have that new thing now that they play pro like they're 14 years old. It's a new thing that just came up.
Yeah.
And the boy was saying, yeah, by 3, I knew I wanted to be a pro player. And I was like, oh, that's cool. But I don't think many kids think like that. I don't know. I will see. But for me as a parent, it's really to have them try everything. And then in their like world that's the best, okay, you can 3, 5 years old, you play rec, 7, 8, you get a little bit more specialized and having a coach coming, and then you play middle school, high school, and then you can get a scholarship for college. So that's always really good. But yeah, not you go with the kids. You support your kids and whatever they want to do.
That is beautiful insight. And I'm going to go back to Liz Amanda now. I want to ask you, a lot of us, our kids get home 2, 3 o'clock, and then we're, maybe letting them have a little bit of snack, and then we're shuttling them to a practice, and then they've got homework or reading. And it is a lot as a parent, and you're constantly asking yourself, what's more important, academic, sports, balance? How do you do it all? If they need a little extra tutoring thrown in there, you're like, wow, I do not know how to do this every day. How did you balance it? And what did you feel maybe at 14 when things started to get intense compared to 17, 18? What did that balance change as?
I didn't really have a balance yet because of course at first you're trying to figure it out. So I kind of put my head all into soccer, but I of course did my schoolwork and everything like that, and I passed my high school. I went to college for it too. But I think it's just that you have to first prioritize like what is more important, depending on your interest, I guess, and what you think is going to push you further and better yourself as a person.
Yeah, that's really good advice. How do you feel like as a coach, your then coach turned into stepdad, like what did that influence you or teach you about balancing both and the importance of both maybe?
I'm sorry, can you ask that question again?
Yeah, no, of course. So, your coaches growing up.
Yes.
And also having parents that are both athletic and athletes and believed in your dream. Mm-hmm. What was maybe any insight or support they gave you that gave you the confidence that you could balance both?
Just like as any parents should do, they gave me support in both areas and telling me that I am like doing really well, and just pushing me to make sure that I'm just doing the right things.
I wanted to add that to your little for the parents, because about the balance. For me, it was really happy to push her in soccer so she can behave, because kids have so many things that can go wrong. So at least when they do a sport, they can focus on something and it keep them
I would
in
say
line.
that it was like an outlet for me in the beginning as well. So when she pushed me, it's like, to get me away from all like the negative aspects of like maybe middle school, like bullying and stuff like that.
Mhm.
And just like more of a mentality thing than than anything.
I love that. No, I think that's incredible wisdom. And I want to ask both of you, can answer simultaneously here. When you had a bad game, when you lost that game,
Mhm.
maybe you guys had, you didn't make a team that you had anticipated making later on in life, or I don't know, a college that maybe didn't go your way, or a game in college that didn't go your way.
Yeah.
Did you guys always talk about the games? As a parent, Marie, did you just support her and encourage her? That was something I heard that continued to come up. So I'd love for you both to answer, what does that landscape look like?
Yeah, she actually always talked to me about like the games. Like we would always write to each other about what happened in the game and our little insights of what happened like during the games. But she's always supported me and says, "Oh, well, you're either gonna get better next time, or you're gonna continue to work hard and just keep going, and always pushing me in that direction."
Yeah, I think that's the important part. Keep going, because like life always things happen, sometimes not the way you want it to, but if you keep going and going, that's the key.
Yeah. And then
that's
more comes out of it than you realize.
Yeah. Now, along your journey going through, especially I would say beginning of high school, did you see those kids that were getting pushed really hard by their parents, but maybe didn't have that same heart of passion that you did? Or did you maybe see kids that had less potential, but that were pushed harder? And Marie, feel free to jump into, what does that look like along that journey? If everyone's not a superstar, do those kids fall off? Do they just play for fun? How, what does that dynamic look like?
Yeah, I've seen everyone has their own priorities. So like parents, they can push their kids where they're not really gonna budge because that's not their priority. And I think parents have to understand like what their kid wants, because it's what you're gonna do in life, you're gonna want to do. And if you don't want to do something in life, you're not gonna do it. So yeah, it's just that.
Yeah, and that a lot of parents, that's kind of their dream, and they want their kids to play, and the kids don't want to play. So I would say to the parents, just support your kids at what they want to do. And I see a lot of parents on the sideline, screaming negative stuff, or it's about supporting.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That's good. No, it's really good. I love this. It's good for me to hear as a mom. I will always be honest, and I help moms. My kids are so young, and they got my athletic side, probably not my very athletic husband's side so far. And so it does feel at times, and I'm totally vulnerable to that too, where you watch the superstars out there. And of course, you want your child to participate or run fast or work hard in that environment, but you can clearly see those kids that just have that something extra.
Yeah.
And so I'm going to ping pong to Marie here for a minute. What do you say to parents like myself where, we want our kids to be out there and active, but there is just a clear delineation, is it keep going, just support? Like, what are some of I wish we all had superstars, and I am incredibly proud of my kids. And that's why I want to be vulnerable and tell the truth. Because I think there's a lot of moms like me out there that just think our kids are awesome and we want to give them all this chance. But there's this like supercharged business now behind sports, and it gets a little dicey. And if your kids are just playing rec, and then those kids are playing travel, that's who they're going to be up against. It's very confusing as a parent. Do you just let them play rec? Do you put them in travel so that they're getting the reps and the extra work in? I'm in the middle of this journey. I yield to you.
I think that you know what, it's always about the kid. So even if he's not the superstar, often like if you look at the big picture, a lot of superstars, they have it easy, and some of them they're not going to continue. And if you look at the people that make it, often is the kid that, just wanted it, was not a superstar, but keep working and working at it. And then they're the one who make it. So as a parent, I would say, you know, you want to support your kid, and it's a lot of sacrifice, but I think like everybody, you know, it takes a
Patience.
village to
And patience.
and patience, yes, for sure, to raise a kid. So it's a lot of sacrifice, like, because I had to go with my daughter all the time. Like, I have other kids, you know, it's like every weekend, every holiday. So you kind of have to have the whole family around that. But for a while, I had a friend of mine that she's like my sister, and she was taking care of my son because every weekend we were out of town. So it's sacrifice, but, and then like you say, I was feeling bad for a while because I'm like, am I doing the right thing? And I'm like, my son is with somebody else. But then at the end of it, they, you know, everybody turned great. And it come out good. It's just about what their passion. And both of my kids are really happy in doing what they want to do.
Yeah. And
I'm so glad you're a part of Yes We Can Moms, Marie, when you say that, because we need that kind of veteran wisdom. We need that kind of love and compassion that we can hear from moms in your stage of life with an incredible daughter like Liz Amanda, who's a good human, right? We all just want to raise good humans, but there's a roller coaster of a ride along the way, like you just said. Liz Amanda, I want to ask you, for those kids along your journey that were pushed really hard and maybe didn't have that passion, what did you hear them saying? Like, what did you see in their journey? You know, what were they feeling? Because I think sometimes that will help parents that are pushing so hard to understand.
I just knew that there were kids that just wanted to do something different, but didn't know how to really, you know, communicate that because of the parents' maybe expectations. But they ended up just doing something different and then being superstars in that category.
I love it. You are so wise. Everything you're saying has so much wisdom, power packed into it, right, Marie? It's like, that's what parents need.
Yes, she's awesome.
That's so cool. So my final question is, I'll go first to Marie. What is your biggest piece of advice? And I actually really love that you're the mom that I'm interviewing here today, because you help new mommies. So you see that whole cycle that moms are in right now that is so supercharged. And you're also a mom of superstars and kids who have found their passion and their true fulfillment in life. So what would your advice be to mommies along the journey?
The same, just support what your kids want to do. And communication, of course, and you can make it happen. Like, I was a single mom for a long time, and it's just to work with everybody. And if that's the kid want to do, then just go for it. And
she was a mom that did push sometimes.
yes,
that's good.
She,
I think that's good to hear.
She did push sometimes, but I think it's because like she knew it's something that I wanted, but maybe during the times that she was pushing me harder, I was mentally checked out sometimes just because of the pressure of the competitiveness or the pressure of competing against others for like that starting position or wanting to like just be better at that sport. But like there were days I would have down days and she would just push me a little bit harder. And I think that's okay to push.
Yeah, and also I was always saying, you know, if you don't want to play no more, and we stop.
Yeah. She did say that.
I was pushing her to be the best, but yeah, I'm like, if you're done, okay, we'll do something else.
Which I think was like a little bit of reverse psychology, because she's like, well, if you don't want to, like, you can stop.
I could not love this conversation anymore. All right, my last question, because I could really sit with you guys all day. Like, I wish I was at your house with a cup of coffee and I could just sit with you guys. But listen, Amanda, I want to ask you, what is that mantra that goes through your head that has followed you through good games, bad games, hard times, good teammates, bad teammates, good coaches, bad coaches? What is your affirmation? What is your mantra of that champion mindset?
Stay present and stay neutral. I think being present for the moment, like I've learned a lot about temporary pain and and I just know it's like a fleeting thing, and then just go to the next thing. Even as a goalkeeper, that's kind of the mindset that I've had to learn, is to, when something goes bad, just kind of address it, be present with it, and then let it go, and then move on forward.
Oh man, there's so much wisdom in there for moms, for, you know, just everything. I love your guys' message, and I'm so thankful along this journey to hear, just be present, encourage your child, follow what they want to do, allow them to follow their instincts, and be there and love them, and just enjoy the journey together, because it really does end up okay. So much wisdom packed into this, you guys. This is awesome. I am so grateful. And I just look up to you both so much. And I thank you for sharing, because it really will help a lot of parents.
Thank you.
Thank
I
you.
really
Thank
hope
you.
so.
You're awesome. All right, guys.